Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Behind the Front Desk. We are sponsored by our good friends at Phaser Marketing. So let's be honest, either you own a small business or you know someone that does. Phaser Marketing offers a one-stop shop marketing team for your business. They stop you from wasting your valuable time trying to learn and juggle the core elements of marketing. If you want to focus more on what you do best, make sure to check out their website at phasermarketing.com. That's PHASER marketing.com and take your business to the next level.
It's that easy.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Kramer was the one who, we just play paper football.
Oh yeah, I know.
You were about to fire into something before I cut you off, I think.
I was talking about I was playing Game Boys in class.
Oh, I'm gonna just say we had some horrible classes. And,
Oh, do you remember 7th or 8th grade gym?
well, see the problem with how our private school did it is, freshman year it was A, B, C, and D. So if you were an A, it was like you were the kids.
I think we were ABC. I don't think we had a D.
We had a D.
Did we?
Sixth grade. So how they did it, or actually it was A, B, C for
Yeah.
sixth. 7th was a D,
Okay.
and then 8th was C.
And
But-
boy, did you know which were the smart classes.
Well, yeah, A was like the class that you would expect the honor students to be in. B was students who were
They
decent.
did well.
C was the class that, or the group of kids that were the ones who you knew were either going to be like the ones making jokes, not paying attention, or the troublemakers.
Hmm.
And I was in C 6th grade, I was in D 7th grade, and C in 8th grade. Classes always hammered because those were always the fun classes. But yeah, we had some bad kids.
Not we were always hammered, not that.
No, those classes hammered though.
Okay. It sounded like we were hammered. I'm just
Well,
saying that just in
there was
case.
Didn't drink till I was 19.
Same.
seriously.
No. I might have been 18. No.
Well, I might have been 18, but it was like 18, 19.
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
know
sure.
I didn't touch alcohol until we
14
graduated.
14 or
because I was
15,
always so
but-
afraid.
I tried
Yeah.
it once, but the first time I got drunk was I think I was 19.
I didn't try it until after high school.
Tried smoking.
I'm
you
so afraid of my dad that he'd kill me if I touched anything.
Fair enough.
Tried smoking at 11 or 12. Tried smoking weed 14.
What was that? Weed?
Yes.
Pot?
Marijuana.
Marriage? Well, it's just
the
like,
devil's lettuce.
I was smoking. I tried a cigarette at 11. I tried smoking pot.
What was that? Weed?
Yes. I don't know.
Probably not smart.
No, it wasn't.
To
But
say it or do it?
What?
To say it on here or just doing
Well,
it?
if it's not smart to say it on here, then that's all.
people.
Yeah,
don't-
It's
people
brought up
won't
all
care.
the time, but I don't think that's a problem. I'm just saying not very smart to do the act at
yeah, at the age. Yeah.
14 because your brain is still very not developed. And
It is-
not now, I'm saying at
Yeah.
the time.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
I wasn't firing a shot that your brain is still not developed because I think it is.
It's pretty.
Anyway.
No, we just had some classes
Jeez.
that.
Sorry.
Z-Man's feisty.
Well,
today. He's trying to-
I wanted to know what he was getting into.
No, I'm
Okay,
just saying.
okay.
Our
I was interested.
Our classes.
Oh, we cut him
were-
off again.
We had some very bad
Yeah, check this out.
classes. Gym class.
Oh.
With the kids we had, we had a lot of. We had really good athletic kids, not great students, but then we would have some kids who were, how would I phrase it, weren't very good at either, and you could see who was the vulture in the class because you go against those kids.
Well, how many? There were multiple.
What?
I was just dying laughing because the whole time you're telling that story, I could see his mouth keep opening because he's trying to
We're
interrupt
trying
you.
to be better at cutting you
I don't
off.
care.
It's just I could just see him the whole time.
I'm
He's
just
like,
because I keep cutting, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, oh no, don't
Yeah.
cut him off here. But we definitely drove a certain gym teacher, out of the class multiple times.
that's a bummer.
Well,
I remember.
dodgeball.
No, I remember when the gym teacher did Because I think he was also the health teacher too at like 6th or 7th grade
Yeah.
or something, and I was in Mikey's class. There is, oh, I'll tell you off
Yeah.
air because he says some stuff that doesn't need to be said, but it was.
Fair enough.
It's like how
Is there
does
anything
this-
you can say?
Oh my god! I know.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Now I remember
I-
exactly what you're
we
talking
were
about.
I think it was health class. It might have been a Saturday detention. I don't know. I don't remember. Because I know him and me had a detention
Breakfast
with.
Club?
We had quite a few of them.
But
Then they got rid
there's,
of
there's
that. So
just
sweet.
I think we were just kind of working on homework. Maybe it was a study hall kind of thing, sitting there doing whatever. And well, our buddy at the time was just known for causing trouble with his teacher, and he's just kind of making faces, making noises. And at one point, he calls him up to come up to his desk to talk to him. And what he does is he takes his uniform shirt, he twists his shirt a bunch to make it look like he's
Nipping.
nipping out hard. He takes I think he took a few headbands and he had longer curly hair, had them all like this, and he his pants up, and he starts kind of walking really kind of like this, and just being really,
Out
really
there.
bad, really
Yeah.
out there. And he goes back to his seat, and he's still doing stuff, and teacher says something again, and he goes, "Oh," and then says something that probably shouldn't have been said.
Ugh. Well, and the problem is in 6th and 7th and 8th grade we had it was like a snack time where you could buy snacks from
Yeah.
the commission.
Oh, the a la carte.
Yeah, the a la carte, but it was done right by the stairs, so you could do it.
Yeah.
Well, we had either health or gym class right after it, and same kid, same teacher, gets the Scooby Doo snacks that are made like a bone.
Oh, the graham
Oh,
crackers.
and he was-
those are so good.
And
Say
he was
we
eating them,
had
and
them
he's
at
like,
work.
you can't eat at this time, and kept eating them. He's like, and he goes, "What are you gonna do?" And he goes, "Detention." He goes, "Fine, f this," and he literally takes them all and chopping them, and you could see him falling down. It was just it was funny as hell, but when you look back at it, it's like, God, that's so dumb.
Oh, you look back and you're like, what is wrong with us?
Yeah.
This stuff is so dumb, and we found it. I still find it hilarious. I feel bad, but it's still so funny in my head.
Gym class is by far the funniest class we've ever had. Nothing compares to it from elementary school on. And you know what I'm talking about in elementary school.
Oh God, yeah.
The closet and everything.
Oh yeah.
It just,
We were dumb in school.
we're just mean.
You and-
mean kids.
You and Z-Man did 7 minutes in heaven? Or what?
No, we had a kid who he would freak out during gym class if he got out in dodgeball. If something bad happened to him in gym class, he'd freak out and run.
If he lost.
Yes, he would freak out and run to, especially in how our old school was, you would have doors, so it'd be 2 access points.
Yeah, there was the big 2 doors that led to where they kept all the equipment.
Yep.
That was usually unlocked during gym class.
So how the gym is, it was a rectangle, but there was kind of this spot where you'd have bleachers at, and then there was the door for the equipments. Then there were the 2 main doors
Okay.
in and out, but then because it's old school, it had 2 actual other doors, almost like how houses have them, where you open the door, there's a little spot where you close the door and you take off your coat and shit, and then go
Like a
into
porch?
the house. Yeah, I don't know.
Or it's not a porch, but
I
An
can't think of-
entryway.
It's similar to it. I forget the name of it. It's still it's meant so you can keep cold air out and shit.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I
so there
can't
was
think of the
2 of them. Well, they're the one closest to the actual hallway, because the other one I think just went to another utility closet. Well, he would get out and freak out and run to it. Well, of course, when you're in 5th grade, this shit is just hilarious to you. So we'd freak out. The teacher would kind of add into it, go to your closet, go hang out. And so we would just,
I don't know if it was middle school or high school, but I just remember playing dodgeball one time, and it was me and a few other people still in, and he was the only one left on the other
I
side.
was there for that.
And
Well, and the problem with that is
Bowman.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm the one who threw it up.
Yeah,
So
oh,
so he went up for it,
that's right.
and of course,
And I feel bad now, but because I laugh at it. But we he was the only one left, and we knew he was known for freaking out. And Ding lobs the ball up in the air.
So
he gets distracted going to catch it, and one of our classmates
gets
who had a hard. He was a pitcher, hard pitch.
Rocket arm.
Yoinked him right in the face, and
Ooh.
he was running around the gym.
Well,
Oh my
he was
God!
running
no!
after this kid. Well, of course,
No.
everyone else. I mean, and this includes his own teammates. Grab balls because they're all around, and as he's running around, just everyone's throwing. And I mean, at the time,
We were dicks.
Yeah, I feel like we're just listening to
At
two
the-
bullies tell
That's-
stories right now.
Well, at the time, I mean, it was damn hilarious. Now I look back and I'm like, probably shouldn't have done that shit.
And we weren't even like, I mean, we were assholes. Yes, I'll
Yeah.
gladly admit that. But we weren't even the worst of it.
No,
No,
there were
we
other
were-
kids who
there
were
were-
like, who would openly like do it in gym. Like it just happened that day, and I think it was one of the last days in school. So you're getting to the end. Kids don't care about the rest of the year.
But there were definitely a few kids a lot worse. I
Oh.
remember I tried to step in once
Yeah.
in the locker room
Oh
because
yeah.
one of our classmates, who was still newer at the time, was really picking on him and getting into him in the locker room. And I pushed him in the locker and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
My heart was racing.
Well,
He's
it's
bigger than me.
It's just
course.
it's just one of those things though, where it's like
And
when
now
you
every
look-
time I see him, we're friends. Sorry. I
Yeah,
cut
it's,
you off.
it's just one of those things. Though when you look back, it's like it's funny because you could still you could still see, you could remember the hilariousness at that time. Now I look back, it's like bunch of dicks. Funny though, but dicks.
There's so much stuff I feel bad for about how I treated certain people, in grades and stuff. Because like I was always like a little quicker with like responses and stuff, and coming up with like jokes and like I was pretty good at making fun of people.
Yeah,
Still are.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot better at trying not to, but I have just when I think back, sometimes I just hate myself for how
Oh,
I treated people.
absolutely.
Like
Oh,
when I
yeah.
look back at the things I said to people, and it, just for no reason other than I don't even know why I was saying them. Just
The only
just to get a rise out of people, or I don't know.
The only thing
I
I
don't know.
take away from is that I feel bad, obviously, but at least like it could have been so much worse.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like
but
it sucks that we did that, but at least it wasn't like how it's portrayed in some shows and whatnot, just so bad.
well, and that's the thing. Like a lot of it was more
and how it actually is for
a lot of
other
a
schools.
lot of it was more like the verbal part. We didn't really physically.
There was no like,
no.
no one's getting in fights and
Yeah.
knocking a kid out because he's
Or-
nerdy, quote unquote,
Or
kind
throwing
of
a
thing.
kid in a locker. Like we
Yeah.
really didn't have any of that.
well, I
issue.
wasn't big enough to put any kids
We
in any
also
lockers.
couldn't fit in the lockers because they were like the one on top of another.
Yeah,
So
those
only,
sh-
like,
but,
three.
small
but then
ones,
there
yeah.
would be the ones that were a little bit.
Oh
wider and
yeah, I
taller.
guess.
But we never had that issue.
No.
It was just more like you would hammer a kid on something.
You just you
You
would
know.
just say things.
Yeah.
No, I would say in my like history of and stuff like that, I think there's probably
Of
about
bullying.
bullying. Yeah, I will say I was a bully at certain points in my life, and don't know why I was, but I'd say there's probably about 2 to 3 people that I would still like to apologize for the things that I said to them and
Yeah.
how I treated them and stuff.
Mhm.
And I will one day, but
I'm not gonna
Say
lie.
all. it could be-
I think, well, especially for me, like 6th through 8th, I was kind of just a little dick, and then by like 9th,
Now you're
and-
just a giant dick.
yeah. But I got much
he's
better.
got one.
by
Nice.
by 9th,
got you.
10th, and 11th. Thank you. By like senior year, I had like kind of made amends. I'm like, yo, I'm sorry about some of the shit I said when I was in 6th grade or 7th. It's like a lot of that shit was just to say it because
Well, that's
most kids wouldn't think to say some of the shit I would say.
But-
so most people would be like, holy shit, like I've never heard that. I've never heard a human being say that like that.
but it's really big on you to understand and see
Yeah.
that from just a transformation of middle school to high school.
Mhm.
Because in middle school, I wasn't really much of a bully, but in high school, in certain aspects, I was. And I didn't really figure out that I was a bully until the last couple of years.
Oh,
And then I kind of all of a sudden I started looking back at things. And I'm like, shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was
wanna
not
get
a
on
very.
that though about making amends because you might get a whole Billy Madison kind of thing. I think that's movers. It Happy
Yeah,
Gilmore.
yeah. Where he was like, just
Steve Buscemi.
yeah, where Steve Buscemi.
And he's like, oh, thanks for calling. He crosses his name off the
Yeah.
list of like people to kill or whatever.
Yeah, I do want to get on it, and I do want to apologize to a couple people because I still feel bad about it, and I don't know if they still think about it or. But
Regardless if you're or not, it's good.
yeah, it's just good to reach out and make an amend.
So
Yeah,
for
it's
people
more-
out there,
Yeah.
if you were a bully, make amends.
Yeah.
Or don't. I can't tell you what to do.
I
should.
would,
But it would be a
generally,
good idea.
because it's much better to do it.
It's more of just
clear
like
your
a
conscience.
It's also more of just like a check-in with them, more of just like checking in, seeing how they are first off, and mainly seeing how they are,
Mhm.
you know, and then kind of, you know, admitting that, you know, I was an asshole, because I don't want it to be all about myself, like
Yeah.
trying to relieve myself of some guilt that I feel, and this person has to comfort me and be like, oh no, you weren't that bad, you know, like I don't want
Yeah,
to put
you
them in
really-
that position.
yeah.
I want to make it like clear that it's more just about like I actually
Care.
feel bad, and I don't want them to, you know, hold on or like have to live with those feelings.
Have that like affect their actual lives.
Yeah, and like I don't want that. I just don't want that.
Yeah. For sure.
Good old younger days.
Learning.
Yep.
That's all it is. Is trying to.
We're just all a bunch of assholes.
Well, kids are
Kids
not
are
nice.
assholes.
Yeah.
Kids are not nice at all.
No.
Because if there's one thing different about you than everybody else,
Yeah,
you get bodied. It's not about anything except for just kids. Kids are pack animals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
They
big time.
they ride together. Like
Yeah.
if you can get into a pack when you're a kid, you do whatever it takes
Yeah.
to stay in that pack. And like if someone makes fun of you or something, like, oh, why would you wear that shirt? Next day, I burned that shirt. That shirt's gone. I'll
Oh,
come
yeah.
back. You'll never see that shirt again, because if that's gonna get me kicked out of the group, it's gone.
Oh yeah, you're just adding fuel for them.
Yep. And it's kind of like when you're younger, it's like you hear your dad or you hear people say things about other people that they don't like, and you're really picking up on those as like, okay, so
Yeah.
they don't like that about this person, so I'm not going to do that anymore because I can't, because then this person won't like me.
Mhm.
It's just so much learning, and you're just, no one knows who they are as a kid when you think about it. When you think back about it at the time, you're like, you think you know yourself or anything, but now you look back and see, you had no clue. There's no way you could.
No.
The only thing you know is what you're hearing from other people, and
Hear and see.
the other people, kids your age, are just hearing stuff their dad said or mom, and they're just taking that into their personality.
If,
Everyone's just their dad.
if you could go
Or son,
back in
or,
time and speak
mother,
to
whatever.
Yeah, if you could go back in time and speak to like your sixth grade self, what would you tell them? Like, what would be the first thing you would tell your sixth grade self?
Do you have something? Because I might need a second to think on that.
Yeah, it'd
Be more confident.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I'd be like,
Not get good grades because I didn't get good grades and
Yeah.
I love what I'm doing right now. So,
yeah. Oh,
but be
Yeah.
more confident. I definitely was
Yeah.
not a confident kid.
well, yeah.
I was a very
timid. Yeah.
timid or whatever the other word you're looking for. The only time
Enclosed.
enclosed. The only time I came out was when I was sassing off to the teachers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say is like, try a little more harder, and a lot of the shit I've done, don't do some of the shit I've done. It's like, that's what I would say. Like, hey, you know, don't be such a pussy on certain things, but don't be a dick on these things.
Yeah, it's tough because think about what I would tell my sixth grade self, because there's not much I could probably tell him that would get through.
Well, let's say you recognize it's yourself. Like, you know, you're like, that is me. Like, I know for a fact that's you.
Well, I would
And you
hope he
could-
would
and
if
you-
he's looking at himself.
Well, but the whole thing is like a lot of people, from what you see in the mirrors, your perception, like your
yeah.
current perception. So like a lot of people say, like it's said by scientists, like
So
if
do
you
you
saw
mean-
a copy of yourself, an exact copy of yourself, you wouldn't recognize it as yourself.
Oh,
You'd be
okay.
like, oh, okay. Like,
So, like, what would you tell yourself if yourself was willing to listen and
Yeah.
do
That-
whatever
that-
you said?
That's what I was just thinking about, and I think it would be the thing that's probably helped me the most in my life would be, if I could get like one thing for him to live by, would be like do the next right thing. And just like if you mess up, it's whatever.
You're
you
gonna
just,
mess
you just
up.
have
That's
to
okay. Learn
just
from
do
that.
the next right thing that you can do.
That's deep.
Yeah,
Deep.
that would be the thing that I would that I wish I would have heard, or something I would have tried to live by when I was a little bit younger. But you don't know.
Mhm.
Stuff to know. Stuff.
But
That's
you
a good
can impose
question.
that on your future kids.
That's the goal.
yeah.
Yep, that is the goal. Tough growing up. but boy, do I miss it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, if
I actually, yeah. If I'm being completely honest, I probably don't miss
Like
it. At
I
all.
hate some of the adult stuff like bills and whatnot,
Yeah.
but like when I look back at high school, when you had it sounds terrible. I
Oh,
love
sounds
being
so
able to, like, if I feel like going out if I feel like going for a drive at 3 in the morning, I can go do whatever I want. If I want to go for simple things
Well,
like that.
yeah, and I personally love where I'm at. Like I love my age. Like I love the things that are on the horizon. Like I don't want to go
Mhm.
back to any of that crap.
No, I'm good.
And in a certain sense, we'll get to see it again when we have kids and they all go through it.
And then yeah.
Then you're kind of
Then you get to deal with the aftermath of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind going back, but again, if I could go back with what I know now, way different human being.
What if you couldn't?
Would you still go back?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, I also think I probably wouldn't have done a lot of the same shit I did.
But then you wouldn't have turned out the same.
No.
And are you proud of who you are?
Most of the time, yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time, there are times I'm like,
Like what?
Well, if I'm driving, most of the time, depending on how the people are driving, I normally have some things to say that.
Road
I-
rage?
Well, everyone's gonna get that.
Yes, but normally it's
Don't
things,
get that anymore.
It's things that how would
I
phrase it?
do, but I cause that myself.
If you were in the car, you'd be like, "Holy shit!" You'd be like, "Wow!" Don't say that outside of the car. Like, do not say that to like things like that, or I'm a very.
I used to do that, and even though I still get road rage, I put on myself. Because I mean,
Well, I
knowing
don't-
that I
I-
drive so fast over the speed
Yeah.
limits, like I'm causing it myself.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
Like I'm
causing
yelling at
yourself
people
to
going
get into
slow when
issues.
they're going probably 5-10 miles over the speed limit. I'm just going so fast.
Well,
But
no.
I've learned to, like, I won't say bad things, but I'll pepper in like you numbskull, you nincompoop, trying to keep it more PG and just stop saying things. So I say nincompoop a lot.
I say
in my car.
the full thing. So I'm like, you.
See, I used to. I'm
Well,
trying,
but
I'm
I
working.
don't-
I'm
I
trying to
don't
get
say
off
it-
of
I
that.
don't say it to anyone. I don't.
Well, I
you
never
know.
did either. I'm just saying
But
that
it's
even
just-
then, when I just say it, even though it's just myself in the car, I don't even like it. Like it's like that doesn't need to be said. It's too much. So let's pepper in a nincompoop.
I just usually end up putting it, like I try to look at it, like if I get cut off by somebody, I'm like, well, they're either really late to something, who knows, they may be speeding home because their child might be in trouble or something, like something may have happened and they have to get home and they don't care who I am at this point.
See,
They're
for me, it's I'd be that person cutting you off.
well, exactly, and
I'm
then
not-
But it's because
I'm
I
not
just
gonna-
want to get from
I'm
point A
not
to
gonna
point
lie,
B
if
as fast as I
that,
can.
if that went through my mind, normally my first instinct is like, well, if you were a fucking better parent, your child would be in trouble. Like but that's just me. Like that's how I naturally think. is-
Well,
it takes
that's-
it so out of context.
well, I know,
that's- yeah,
I know.
that's-
That's just me. That's on me. I know for a fact that's my personality.
yeah, and I'll put stuff on myself too in that situation. If I start to all of a sudden go, if someone cuts me off or people are driving slow and I'm getting mad at them for driving the speed limit,
Well, I don't.
I'm
freak out
like,
or anything,
but it's
I'll
like
just
it's
drive
one of
it,
those
like-
things of like if I'm getting mad at them driving the speed limit, because then you have to look at it and I have to start thinking, I'm like, why am I getting mad at them? It's like, oh, that's because I left late for work and now I'm scared that I'm not going to make it to work on time, and now this person that's just enjoying their drive going the speed limit, now I'm mad at them because I left late. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's shifting the blame.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, I just got to leave early, and then now this person driving slow, I'm good with it.
I don't have that issue. I'm naturally.
Well, you are late every day, but
Not
we've went into that.
Yeah,
Not
that's
this
been.
week. Not this week.
Congrats, your
And
first
you're
week,
walking.
Apparently.
No, not my first week. I actually don't walk. I drive my car only because I need my car. So,
Alright.
but
Fair enough.
well, no. I mean, it's just naturally I'm a little more cynical than a lot of
noticed.
people. Yeah, I'm the type of person to be like,
I don't know about that.
oh,
I mean, I'm with you like the cynical aspect, but more than most people, I think we're pretty decent. There's some people that are
well,
cynic, like they just don't enjoy life.
well, not
so
even.
cynical.
It's not. I don't have that issue.
Yeah,
But
well, that's what I mean.
My problem is I'll walk into work and I'm like, what the fuck do these people want today? And then of course
I think so.
That's
I
just
was-
work
that's-
sometimes.
yeah,
though.
I always chill. I'm never show any of that, but I'm always the person that's like I always just go to the ninth degree of the awfulness, and I don't never show it, but again I always think I'm like, oh, okay, it's like you're just terrible at your life. Like that's exactly how I think about it. And I'm like, they're not just me.
So that's always so weird how we are with like we were like the same thing at the gym where you see someone coming in, you know who it is. It's like, Jesus, God damn it, I don't want to talk with them as soon as they walk in. Hey, what's
Yeah.
up?
Well, that's what Josh and I would do at like Sunlight and stuff when we'd be like, if someone calls right now, I'm telling them the grill's off. I'm like, suck it. You ain't
Yeah.
getting a burger
Yeah,
right now.
oh,
And then they call.
Yeah.
And I
you're
go, Sunlight. And they're like, is the grill open? I'm like, oh, yeah, of course it's open. What
like,
can we
"It's open
get
for
you?
3 more minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you want?
Well, I'm just like, of course, we'll leave it on all night for you. Like, of course
Yeah.
it's open.
Yeah.
It's just like you talk a big game, and then once you get back to work, it's like,
Yeah.
it's still your job. You got to treat it with
Oh, yeah.
respect. Like, you have to treat people with respect because
Well, that and
they're not doing anything
yeah.
wrong. But
Well, no, another thing is I just think every situation is going to go worse, or there's always a possibility of something crazy happening. That's just how I look at it. I'm like, it's like, well, I'm driving on the interstate. It's like, oh, somebody's going to flip probably because he doesn't know what he's doing or he's drunk. And it's like that's just naturally how I think. So everything, it's like on the plane ride to Mexico, it's like, be nice if we got there, but I could see it not happening. Everyone, like my sister's like, Jesus. And it's like, well,
that's where it's almost a surprise that I'm friends with you, and honest, because I really don't like when people are like that because it affects because it rubs off on my mood
Well,
so much and
and
it can bring me down.
how would I phrase it? Like I always look at it like the good thing's going to happen, but I always am like, I'm the type of person to say like the worst thing could happen. You know, like example, my mom will leave to go on vacation. She'll leave her windows open, like not with the screen open, but like all the windows open. I'm like perfect setup to get murdered tonight. And she's like, why? I'm like, you left every window open. If I did not show up tonight, someone could have just busted through your window, stolen all your shit, or murder me, or murder you. She's like, well, that's really cynical. It's like, yeah, I just,
Does
See,
that
the issue with that because I'm the same way.
yeah.
And see, whenever people are like, "Oh, that's really cynical," it's like not
It's
good. You think about. It. I'm like, that's what I say. Is like, I'm sorry, I'm thinking realistically, which
Yeah.
it might not be actually realistically, but that's just how I
well in those
think
senses
of it. Is like
it's-
that's realistic. That happens.
No.
well, there are things that you do that are the outcomes could be very realistic for you, but you still don't do them though.
Yeah, that's just how I see it. Is like, oh yeah, that's realistic.
But you have
That's just what I also say.
does like the being like over cynical, if we use that as I'm not sure that's the right word for how you
Let's
guys
just go
are,
with it.
but we'll just call it cynical. Does that like affect your mood at all? Do you notice it affecting your mood?
I personally don't because I feel like I have a pretty quick, like I forget a lot of like the moment if I'm driving, someone pisses me off, I'll like say whatever I do. The moment I get past them or whatever, within a minute, it's like I'm done. You know.
See, I don't
See,
have
I-
a short term
I have
like
a-
that.
Well,
Let's
especially
say
with things like
it's
that.
not that way for me.
Especially
either.
with things like that. Now, if it's a little more like directed towards me personally, I have the worst memory because I'm like the person who remembers every single detail of it. You know, so that and so if at work, if someone gives me a hard time about something and I know it was directed towards me, I'm the type of person to like not necessarily let them know that I remember it, but I'll let my boss be like that is the person who did that. You know.
Yeah.
But for the most part, when it comes to like just average everyday things, I forget a lot of it and I don't think about it. You know, it's like
Interesting.
it's my B. Like I was being a D there, so
What about you? Because you were saying it does affect you and it does stay with you.
Yeah.
So
It affects my moods for the day greatly.
well, because I know you and I are very similar in the sense that we both struggle with anxiety, and
Big time.
so and I think that because with anxiety it's like such a loop that if you think bad thoughts about certain things, they can just run on a loop for hours,
And I
days,
have-
weeks.
I was gonna say
I have
that's
that about
almost on a daily basis.
I'm not gonna lie, I do have that on certain things. Generally, like things like work or just everyday things generally don't get me. But when it comes to a certain thing, it's like, oh yeah, that it immediately like flows back to either a bad memory or something recent that's happened. And it's like, oh shit. It's like
Yeah.
I'm thinking hard about that now.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
talking about a lot of like almost downer type shit today.
Not necessarily.
cynical stuff.
Cynical stuff, how we were in high school and shit. But
I wouldn't say it's so much cynical stuff we're really discussing.
It's more so looking back on how we were and how we are now, and
yeah, it's
what have we done in between to maybe help change.
yeah, and just kind of discussing if there's anything, I just want to know if there's anything you guys are doing that can help me in a certain sense of how I can think about things, and
Yeah.
And other people listening.
And also, let's check up on my boys, see
Yeah.
if their moods
Well,
are being
I can-
affected by
I
what
can-
they're doing.
I can tell you I've gotten much better because like 2 years ago, if someone pissed me off driving and their window was down, I mean, I would pull up next to them and be like, "You drive like shit," like, and I would do it and roll the window up on them just to see their reaction.
Oh, I
I've
could
got-
never do that.
I
I've
could
gotten
never.
much better
I'm not
at
cut
it.
out for
It's
that.
like as simple as like I think you've told me like that Grace would like honk the horn,
Yeah,
and I said that Jess does the same thing, and I get more irritated than I ever have when she does it because it's
yeah.
like
My anger is immediately directed
Oh,
towards. her.
they could have shot my tire out, but if I hear that horn honk and it's not me, oh, have a nice day, sir. You son of a don't honk my horn.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like if you know if you're driving, go for it.
Yeah, you
if
got
I'm
control of
if
the horn.
I'm behind that wheel, don't touch shit.
Yeah, you don't. If
You
if you're the
lose your
passenger,
privilege to that. That's
you don't get to grab the wheel. You don't get to do anything like that. That's just not.
The only time you should be grabbing at the wheel is for some reason I'm not driving. Like
If
like
I
I'm
pa- if
driving,
I
but I'm
faint-
not doing something.
If I faint or something,
Yeah.
you grab that wheel.
Yeah. Well,
If I'm still awake, don't touch it.
I'm not gonna lie. We, especially when we'd be driving around, chilling, smoking, there would be a lot of times.
Like in
where-
the old days.
yes.
'Kay.
Yes.
We just need to
Well,
make sure.
the driver would be preoccupied doing something, so then I would be the one holding the wheel, and like shit like that. So like, I did that quite often.
Well, that's just dangerous.
Well, again,
That
when you're doing it
sounds
on
illegal.
residential- Oh yeah, hardcore illegal. Well, you shouldn't be smoking and driving. You
Sounds like
shouldn't
there's
drink and
multiple
drive.
things illegal going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, especially at that time, yeah. But again, when you're, how would I phrase it? When you're reckless to a degree, generally you don't care about the level of recklessness. Now, obviously, we weren't doing 60, just careening curves and shit. But
Now, question for you: when you talk about these stories of like smoking and driving, I know you probably weren't doing the driving most of the time,
vast majority of the time, yeah.
but still like having your hand on the wheel and being like a part of it. Like when you tell those stories and when you talk about them, does it make you like? Do you regret it?
Yeah. So how would I phrase it? Like, I look back and it's like some bad decision making, but it's like at the same time, it's like when we would do it, it'd be the summer, it'd be the 4th of July weekend. There'd be no one around, so I would rationalize that as like,
I guess yeah. And
you
are
know,
you talking because you're talking about being around in Fargo?
yeah. So
yeah. I
it'd
guess
be,
there
like,
wouldn't be many
residential
people here, but
streets and shit. So like, I could rationalize that a lot of the time, is because the vast majority of the time I wouldn't have my hand on the wheel unless it was like right at the beginning or right at the end.
but just because you're rationalizing this and making a case for why it's okay,
I could tell you now that I look back at it, it's like I wouldn't have done that.
like now the
Yeah,
rationalizing
no,
doesn't
yeah,
make sense.
No, and nor would I smoke and drive. Like,
Yeah.
Like how we were doing it. It would be the moment you get in the car, drive halfway down the block, and then it's like we're lighting up and, we're doing shit probably shouldn't,
Yeah.
Now I look back at it, it's like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have done that shit. But again,
Yep.
at the time, when it's just like, well, it doesn't matter, because again, it's not like we're doing 80. We'd do the speed limit if that. We'd be uber cautious in that regard, but at the same time,
Uber
it's like,
cautious.
but at the same time, it's like some poor decision making there.
Because I've never drove, drank and drove or anything like that. That's always been a big thing of like my personality that I've never decided to do. But I drove once after I smoked weed once, like, how old am I now? It's probably like 8.
25.
Yeah, like 8 years ago or something. It was, a long time ago, and I drove the shortest of distance somewhere, and it was a terrible idea because it was tough
Yeah.
to like concentrate. I was like, there was no. That was one of my like worst ideas, and
Yeah.
but at the time, who I was like driving with was that's just what you did apparently.
Well,
Like they just said this is what you do, and I'm like, I was way too young, and my anxiety was through the roof, and
how I would phrase that
it's
is
such a bad idea.
the first like 2 or 3 times you're like, oh my god, but it's like I feel like people who are chronic alcoholics and drive, you just get used to it. You get used to how to react. I'm not saying you should do it, but there, especially with how I was when we would drive and smoke, if I was the passenger, and how uber cautious I was about like seeing if someone's coming, taking a right, taking a left,
Well, yeah,
not
and
speeding. You know, like that's it translated to my driving. So like,
Yeah.
if I was high, I wouldn't.
you were more cautious
I was,
almost.
almost more
And-
cautious. Now, is that a good thing to do? Should I have been high and driving? No.
Now, it probably is true with a lot of people because I know a lot of people that can smoke and drive, and they perfectly fine doing it.
It does nothing to him.
Like it doesn't seem like it affects them at all.
No.
And if that's the case, I actually don't know. What is the rule? Like on places where you can smoke, is it
It's still a DUI.
it still is a DUI?
But-
Okay, I wasn't sure if
See, And
what
I-
the rules were on that.
Yeah, and see, it's still a DUI, but a lot of the time, how they look at it is like, as long as you're not drunk, like in Colorado, if you were smoking, they would tell you like, put it out. Like, we'll give you a DUI for it, but it'd be hard to prove like you're actually driving under the influence if you're not driving.
Do they, if you get pulled over in that sense and they know you're smoking weed, would you have to do like the tests,
Mm-mm.
like the walk
Well,
and stuff like that?
I mean, possibly, but again, Colorado, everyone does 80 on a 55.
Yeah, you're
Right.
rarely gonna get pulled over in the first
Yeah,
place. But
and so, how it was especially around here before the last couple of years, it was a lot more like very cautious. Like
yeah,
I was the type of person to, if we hung out, I would have a change of clothes. I literally would change. Either
yeah, you were
before-
saying that in the
before
last
or
episode
after.
a little bit.
So like if we were gonna smoke and I had a shirt that I had used the night before, I'd throw that back on, smoke with that, change out, wash my hands, put eye drops in, gum or mouthwash, and then go from there. And I'd be perfectly fine because again, I'm kind of the type of person to be cautious when I drive, so I check mirrors and shit and not.
Wouldn't that get like? Doesn't that make? Is it, when you're doing those things, isn't that almost like? I don't know. You're doing
Yeah.
something wrong.
hmm
So does that like wear on you at all?
It didn't, because and how I looked at it, and this is an unfortunate way to look at it, it was a cat and mouse game, and it's like I'll be the mouse here.
You were getting a thrill from
Well,
kind of being
like Cloak,
rebellious
yeah,
and
like Cloak and Dagger, like where it's like, what did you do today? It's like hung out with my friends. It's like, what did you guys do? It's like we played Xbox, but you wouldn't be able to tell. I was higher than shit at the time, because obviously I didn't smell it. I didn't look high. I didn't, my breath didn't smell.
yeah.
I seemed pretty much normal because when you become a very avid smoker, it's unless you're just two different people, it's hard to tell. It really is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I know who could, if they told me like, oh, I'm high, it's like, well, I could tell you're very different. But then there's a lot of people who it's like, are you high right now? It's like, why? It's like, I don't know. You just seem like you might be. It's like, I am. It's like, oh. It's like, wow, I wouldn't have actually guessed that if I didn't know you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, the whole like rebellious thing for me, well, it lasted for a little bit, but I got such bad anxiety from doing shit that was like even, sneaking out at night
Oh.
or anything. It's like stuff like that just gave me anxiety because I just don't like being in trouble, and I don't like it, and I don't like the thought of, because it became apparent to me that it wasn't so much. I didn't get happy from thinking back about rebellious things I did or anything. It didn't give
Give
me
you a thrill.
No, it didn't give me a thrill. All it did was it stuck with me for a month of anxiety over something I did, and I was like, I just didn't like who I
Yeah.
was having to, lay in bed with every night, which was myself,
Yeah,
and I
I'm not-
just didn't
well,
like having to think about
I'm
those
not gonna
things.
lie. For me, I kind of adopted the out on the street policy where it's like, yeah, that's what we did. Like, you know that's what I did. You can't
Well,
prove it.
The thing I'm figuring out more about you, or understanding how you are very good at compartmentalizing, and like you can do
Mm.
multiple different things. Like
Well-
you can have like something you're doing that's like rebellious or anything that would make me very anxious
Mm-hmm.
and would affect how I would do schoolwork, work, like personal relationships with people. But you seem you seem to be able to like switch it on and off,
Yeah.
kind of like I don't
well,
know.
and
But it's not like you're doing anything horrible. Like
No.
smoking weed is legal almost everywhere. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're playing with you being rebellious in
Yeah.
a very normal sense of
Yeah.
things people just
well,
love to do.
And I could tell you, like, I was very good about arguing about it, though. So like, that's one thing about me is when it comes to my family.
Love to argue.
Oh, and
Big
know,
argue type
they,
guy.
They know it too. So like, the one time I did get caught by Dennis, and of course he yelling at me, and of course I know I'm caught. Well, how I was doing it was my old bedroom, especially in I want to say high school or just right out of college, was in the back bedroom connected to the attic. So I'd go upstairs in the attic, smoke, wouldn't get downstairs, windows in there. Well, I don't remember exactly how I got caught, but so he comes home from the casino. He's like, your room smells like weed, which I knew it didn't. So immediately I was like, that's bullshit. And then he goes upstairs. He goes, oh, it smells like weed in here. Of course, well, me being the person I am, and I had like a bong, so I'd empty the water into like a 5-gallon pail, walk outside, empty it, bring it back upstairs, just to do that. Well, I'm like, turned it on. I'm like, it's the water. I'm like, I'll throw it. It's like the water. I didn't smoke in here. And of course, by the end of it, he was just like, he's like, well, don't do it in my house. And I'm like, I didn't. It's just there from the last couple weeks. Of course, well, left it open so you could see where some of the water had evaporated. I'm like, you could clearly tell that's old. And so, like, by then, he couldn't prove that I actually had done it that night.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Until now.
well, I mean,
Now he can prove it.
Oh, I guarantee he would know.
Full on confession for Dennis.
Well, same thing with my mom.
Dennis, we got him.
We got him.
Because my mom would be like, are you high right now? It's like, no. It's like, why do you think that? It's like, you seem different. It's like, well, I'm not. And then, like,
But you were.
oh, yeah. Yeah,
Laura,
incredibly.
we got him.
We got
She
him.
knows. Because she once asked me, she goes, were you high at my house? I'm like, oh, yeah. She's like, were you? I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, you argued with me so well that I couldn't tell. I'm like,
No, here we are.
exactly.
Hyping himself up
Well,
again.
no, but I mean that's just how I was. Like I was able to, like, generally with me, I would have 2 things already loaded for me.
Yeah, you always would.
So the moment someone came at me, I could fire off 2 things where it's like instead of me being on edge, I put you on edge, and now you're trying to recoup that original like, well, like you're trying to get me. Now I've got you, and now you're trying to get out of it, and that's just naturally how, like, it was a cat and mouse game for me. Still is when I argue. Still a cat and mouse game. If I know I can get the cat on the run, I'm gonna get the cat on the run, and I'm gonna keep chasing it until I know it's over. And that's just
He's
how
always
I
been
looked
good at it.
That's just how I looked at it. It was just
Well, it's very. I don't know. I find it very interesting because it's like
What?
I know you're not an addict or anything, but the way you're talking about and the way you're telling the stories about these people like confronting you about like smoking weed and stuff, you're acting very much like an addict because you're deflecting everything. Like
Yeah.
you're making them feel horrible for even thinking that you're
it's
high.
not-
So
it's
now
not-
they're never going to question again
Well,
because were made feel
it's
so
not,
bad.
It's not even that I would try to make them feel bad about it. It's just I didn't want to get in trouble. So my whole thing was
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
So I could just put it on you and be like, that you're imagining this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm clearly sober here when I wouldn't be. And
Yeah.
of course, because I was just so good at arguing.
You're gaslighting.
Yeah, 100%. But because I was so good at it, people would be like, like they wouldn't know what to do. Like if someone said something to me, I'd be like, you're wrong. Give me some evidence to prove that I'm right. It's like, I saw you. It's like, you didn't see shit. And then it's like, do you have a photo? No. It's like, then you didn't see shit. You know, like that's just naturally how I am. And I could tell you, I was maybe not addicted, like where I needed to smoke. But if you were to ask me just 2 years ago, it's like, what do you want to do right now? It's like, let's get high.
You would choose weed over
Drinking.
almost anything.
Yeah.
Would you choose it over, like, podcast? Like if we had it at the time and it was like, Isaac, do you want to come over? Like, we're thinking about recording or something. Would you have to do it before you came over, or could you just come over?
I could come. I could stop smoking, and I would take breaks where I go
Tea breaks.
3-4 breaks, 3 or 4 weeks or a month or 2 without smoking. But then it's like, I kind of want to smoke. And so
Were those like did you feel like those were necessary breaks, or were they just you just naturally kind of stopped doing it?
Well,
You didn't feel like you
kinda
needed to
both,
stop, but
kinda
it just
both,
you
kinda
got
both. So like again with weed, the unfortunate thing is once you get to a level,
it takes a lot to
yeah, it's like
it takes more and more.
yeah,
To,
exactly. It's like instead of just smoking,
your tolerance gets
yeah,
built up so
exactly.
much.
It's like instead of smoking one blunt,
It's like drinking.
let's smoke 2. You know, let's smoke 3. You know, and I would get to a point where it's like, A, this is so much money, but B, it's like it's so much time just invested in doing all this shit
Yeah.
that I would just be like, yeah, I'm good on doing that now. And like with my new job, I just kind of was like, you know, I really don't want to be doing that shit at my job when I actually care about this job. No offense to the gym, but that was just more of like a, hey, I get to hang out with my friends. I don't really care. I mean, I did some dumb shit when I was there too. I mean, I'll
Yeah,
fully admit that.
For sure.
That's, you know, I did some things that, looking back at it, it's like probably should not have done. You were there for one of them. I know that. I came in at night one time as you and BJ, and it was. I remember just being like, probably should not have done that. You might have.
It was a little
Right.
reckless.
Yeah.
I'll admit it was a little
Yeah,
reckless.
you know
of
what
him.
day I'm talking about,
Yes,
right?
I do.
Yes.
I'm not sure I was there for it, but
You might not have been, or you might have left before or something. But yeah, it's just things like that. Like I wouldn't consider myself an addict, but I really enjoyed smoking. Like, to be honest, it's really fun to get high and play video games or go outside or hunt or do shit like that. But at the same time, it's like, now I look back at it, it's like really dumb,
yeah,
really dumb,
Yeah.
really reckless. It's like,
for sure.
you know.
Well,
and-
I am glad that you've not that, because again, weed isn't the worst thing in the world or anything, but I'm glad in a sense that it sounds like
You've been
You-
able to
I
enjoy
moved
those things
faster.
sober.
yeah,
I've moved fast.
and
I've-
it's like it seems like you have a healthier relationship with just
well, I would say with myself.
weed, alcohol,
well,
everything,
yeah,
kind of
but-
like mood enhancers. It doesn't seem like
Well, yeah.
you are reliant on them.
Well, no,
which is a good thing.
Even with myself, though, I feel like there was a point where I was like, I'm not the biggest fan of just getting up in the morning, smoking, going to work, going to school. Like, I just felt like I made a whole bunch of horrible decisions. Like, you know,
It's tough to make a good decision in that.
well, it's not even that, but I would just be like, yeah, let's go out to eat, and I would go out to eat, or I would order food, or I would just spend exorbitant amounts because it's like, yeah, it sounds good, because when you're high, you're not really justifying like, oh, I've already dropped $400 this week just to smoke. Now I'm dropping another $100 to eat food throughout the week.
Well, it's like this. It's such momentum with certain things. It's like if you make a
$400?
well, that's a big reason I could never afford to do it
Well-
because I didn't have that kind of money. I still don't. I can't be spending that kind of money. Whew. With
well-
you like doing that, it's like momentum's such a big thing that by you smoking right away in the morning, making
it carried into everything.
maybe a
else.
poor choice to start the day,
Mhm.
it's like, well, I already made a bad decision. It's like you just kind of keep rolling. Now, if you
Yeah.
made a good decision to start the day, like how Z-Man's been doing with like his diet and stuff, you can see it roll into just all kinds of decision makings. Like
Yeah.
you start to prioritize other things. You're like, oh, I did one good thing already today. You want to do another because then it just keeps going.
Well, and yeah, that was, especially with the $400. I mean, because we'd
That's
buy,
stupid.
Well, not even.
That's
not even
just stupid.
Oh yeah, it's not even that. But
I mean,
'cause
then
it would last like a week or two.
I mean,
2
a bottle
weeks.
of Captain's like $20. Maybe get
Well,
that.
dude. I mean, especially at that time, it would be like, it'd be 3 or 4 people going in on weed, and then we'd also buy dabs and wax.
So it'd be $400 a person?
What's a
No.
What's a whack?
wax?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No waxes. I was like,
So
what's a
wait,
whack?
okay, so
No,
I
not
do
a
have
per-
a
That's
not
whack.
a person, but I mean,
yeah, but here I have
It'd
a
be
question
cool-
for you then, based on that. So
Yeah.
400 for like a week.
or more probably.
How much is that like getting you?
Well, so how we would do that, and this is what
Like, or like how much were you putting in then in that 400? Like, were there four?
generally a third
A
of
third,
it,
'cause I
or a
know
fourth, but
I know two people. I don't know if there's anyone else.
well,
I know the two.
And how many
You
and
know.
like how many days are you getting out
Oh,
of
you
it?
can't count him though, can you?
yeah, but so
No.
oh, I mean, it
He
depends.
seems
I
like
mean,
one who would
it ju-
definitely just jip you.
Oh, we would do the opposite. So
Oh,
yeah,
got me there.
yeah. Oh, dude, we were. I mean,
We got him.
how it would work though. I mean, so like
I thought it was pretty good.
I
we would,
like
we
it.
would we buy an ounce of weed. Well, when you split it up 3 ways, it's 9.3 grams. Well, generally that 0.3 immediately the moment we got it, we go smoke it. So then we
Was
end
that
up-
like one joint
you know,
worth?
one blunt. We
Or a
we
blunt?
smoked blunts.
I've never touched this stuff.
I can tell you-
I don't know
I
how
can-
much
I've
does
smoked
what.
like 3 times in my life.
Yeah, I can tell you. It got to a point.
And I
where
don't inhale really, so it doesn't do
I
much.
literally, I had a backpack.
just for the look,
No, I had a backpack. If you opened it, all it was were cigar wrappers.
like the cigarellos
yes.
kind of things.
Well, yeah, like Swisher Sweets.
Yeah.
The 2-pack, there'd be. I probably at the height had from like a year and a half, almost 800 of them. When you do the math on that, it's at $2 a thing,
A pop.
$1,600. Plus you add in the fact of all the weed. Not every.
Oh, this sounds like a double bubble.
Yeah.
Dabble babble.
Good.
No, I mean
We're back.
So
we'll
like
just-
okay, so like let's say you got you said well like 9.3
Yeah.
is what you get for like what ounces?
in just weed. Well, then
In
with
just-
wax, I mean, obviously it's hard to burn.
Well,
through.
how long alone that 9.3? How long alone did that usually last you?
Again, if we were how we were doing it, especially at that time where it was a lot of group, where it was me and these two of my friends hanging out pretty much daily, a vast majority of the day. Like if I had to work, come over, and I had to work at 2, come over at 11, smoke for an hour or 2, hang out, go to work, come back, smoke. It would be maybe a week and a half.
So like
2
probably
weeks.
about every week and a half, 2 weeks, you're probably spending about roughly 125
On
Roughly.
on weed,
Give or take a
well,
few.
but and
on weed.
and
That's a lot.
The thing about it though is by the kind of the end of it, we had gotten people who could get it way cheaper. So like you weren't spending as much, but then we wouldn't spend as much on weed. But wax would come into play, and that was the thing we always liked more because it didn't smell generally like weed. You could get higher generally off of 2 dabs than you can off a blunt, which is crazy.
More expensive though, isn't it?
It is, but with that we'd buy a half ounce of wax. Well, that's only 14 grams. Well, when you split it up, that's about 5 grams a person. That would last, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month.
How much was it for that?
Generally it was like 400, 490.
Kids,
by
please don't
itself?
do this at home.
Like as a group together, about 490 for all that for just that wax.
Yep.
So
It's about
you're spending
about 200, about almost 300.
Would you guys get anything else besides that?
No, I mean, well, unless the person's like, well, we have brownies or Rice Krispies or.
But I'm
shit.
guessing that wasn't. You can't like that's not a
That's
normal
a very
thing.
yeah, it's a very.
So you're probably hitting
yeah,
a few $300 at least a month,
generally
strictly for
just
marijuana?
smoking. Yeah, just smoking.
marijuana.
Jeez, you must have all kinds of money now.
The drugs are bad.
Can I tell you? I mean, especially from
You
the gym,
saving?
from the gym. I mean, it was those 2 paychecks. I might make, let's just say $1,000 that month. Which,
That seems a bit high.
yeah, I'm gonna say that might be high. That might be if I was working the 32 hours. Or
Yeah,
32
if you're hitting like the hours, we
Yeah,
could maybe get
yes,
there.
and that was kind of one. If I was hitting those hours, getting close to it, but you automatically deduct that 300 off, it's like that's $600 in a month. It's hard to live on $600 in a month,
Very hard because rent is.
Well, yeah.
It would be probably like $400 and
well at the
gas
time,
and food
at the
and.
time. I mean,
no money for anything
I
else.
lived with Dennis, so didn't have to pay rent, didn't have to pay for
then
food.
it's not. Then it's not so hard.
No.
You can
No.
make that
Even so-
happen.
yeah, it's just the way I would look at it is like yes, you can. You're not paying rent or anything. It's up. So you got that 600. Gas, food. That's not a big deal. But then it's like, well, you might want to get a few other things. You know, maybe you want to splurge on something,
Yeah,
but you
so-
also want to be able to save something. So once
Yeah.
you cut all that, you're really not able to save anything else. So even though
Mhm.
you can
No,
afford
I'm just saying
stuff,
it's
you
enough
can't.
to live on. You're not
At that-
progressing
Yeah,
in any
it's
sense,
just not.
but
Yeah,
at that time, and I'll admit, like that, those are the especially for that time period. It was a lot of it was just pretty much monthly. Like if I would say if I could save 150 for the next month, save 150. But the problem with us is, we get a text like, "Yo, did you want to get this? I have a deal." Well, of course, when you're telling this to people who are smoking every day constantly,
hooked.
not quite
Well-
hooked. No, not necessarily myself.
You're not.
but
I wouldn't say addicted,
Yeah.
but you are planning on,
smoking again and again. Yeah.
buying and for the
Yeah.
foreseeable future.
Yep.
So if a deal comes up,
Oh, you buy.
you just buy because in the long run, in your mind, it's saving you money
Yep.
because you're going to be buying again. So
Yeah, and so
he's
like,
got you.
that's how we looked at it. No, I mean that's how we looked at it. It was
ladies
like,
and gentlemen, they got him.
They
Yeah.
got him.
well, that's just how we looked at it. It was just like,
Maybe that'll be the title of the
it's like,
episode.
it's like deal came up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like a deal come up, we buy. And so like there'd literally be weeks or months where we'd buy 2 or 3 times in like a 2-week span. And so like I would have an ounce.
Popping
My friend
off.
would have an ounce. We'd have almost a half ounce each in wax. Of course, with that, I mean, then we would like if we played card games or board games, we'd wager that shit.
Oh, Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, and that's
so fun.
See, and that's the thing. We would play that game, and of course, it's like whoever wins gets, and we would all break off a chunk into a thing. It's like whoever wins gets that. Well, of course, now you're all trying to win this. Well, the moment you do it, you fire that tab down. It's
See, that was always the worst.
you
because-
show up.
Well,
and we'd be
because
in the
that was
middle
at
of
a
it.
point where I also was hanging out with them all the time, whether it be at a fire at Dennis's or somewhere, going over to DK's or whatever. So I was like, he'd let me know, oh yeah, we're gonna hang over here. I'm like, okay, you smoke yet? No, give us about 20 minutes. So I'd wait 20 minutes. I'd show up and then
Because
play
you're a good
game.
boy.
Yep, because I'm a good boy, and a few minutes,
You
we'll,
get so pissed.
we'll
You'd be
be
like,
playing-
why couldn't you have done it? It's like, dude.
Oh well, because
It's-
that's the thing. Because I know they would have there's been times where I would know they just got done, so I'll show up then they're already done and we'll play like Settlers of Catan. We'll get a game or two in, and one of them will be like,
The nerd comes over.
yeah. But then one of them will be like, you want to smoke? So it's like didn't you just smoke? And like yeah, it's like just give us
Well,
like 15, 20 minutes. So I just gonna be sitting there just kind of like. Okay.
Well, see, and
And I
was-
was just eventually
and that's-
people were like, just do it before and call it good.
See, but that was the problem. and That was
They were hitting it like
I-
every other hour, just
yeah,
a little
and
bit.
I remember having to tell you, be like, you do know that it like goes down over time, like especially when you get to
I
this
don't
level.
care.
It goes down. It's like drinking. Like if you have 4 drinks at 2 p.m., by 5 p.m., you're generally not feeling a lot of those drinks.
I'm not feeling something after 4 drinks, so.
Well, I know, but generally, you know what I'm saying.
we got to
though,
talk
like,
about that too.
Yeah, that's an even bigger issue. But that's
Well,
just
how much I could intake
yes.
at a certain point.
Well, yes, there was. We had some bad.
Next
bad,
episode,
bad
we'll
months.
we'll jump into
Bad
Z-Man.
months, yeah. Ooh,
There's a whole big thing on.
And we
on the
are
Capitals.
back.
no. Yesterday.
A few good things, few bad things, a few very heartwarming things.
Oshi? Is that what you're
Oh yeah,
Those
that was incredible.
when I
loved
watched
it.
it- when I watched
was tearing up watching
Yeah,
it.
I'm not gonna lie. When I watched, I was like, "Ooh, that's tough." I was like, "That's tough. That's good moment for him, but tough."
What?
And we are
No,
back.
I
yeah.
just,
You
I
probably
just
have
think
no
it's so
clue.
funny how you guys
We're
are
talking
like,
about TJ Oshie.
you guys are like, well, we're not gonna talk about that stuff because you don't know a whole lot about it. But oh my god, this one moment.
I want to talk about it real quick because it's just so cool. Because I love these stories. So TJ Oshie,
Okay, explain it in
He-
good detail so everyone will know.
TJ Oshie, National Hockey League, NHL hockey. Yeah,
He sounds cool.
He
Grace
played for
loves him.
he played for the Soon College. Grew up watching him play. Won the Stanley Cup with the Capitals back a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, something like that.
2018, I want to say.
I think. And it was just like a big photo because they interviewed him, and he was talking about his dad, who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So he was like
Oh.
teared up after winning the Stanley Cup. Like,
What?
We talked about this. I want to say the last podcast or the one.
Did you
before.
tell the story already?
Yep.
well, no, because what happened, like the rest of it just happened last night.
Yeah.
So I maybe talked a little bit about it, but like,
About the-
so his dad has Alzheimer's, and he said in the when he was being interviewed, like his dad doesn't remember much anymore, but forgot. I know for sure he's gonna remember this rest of his life. Well,
Yep.
a week or two ago, his dad passed away, unfortunately.
Yep.
And last night I think, was his first game back after that. And
Okay.
scores a hat trick.
Oh my.
Scores a hat trick, and of course, they show everyone cheering for him. Like, yeah, give him hugs, and of course he hits the bench. Everyone's patting him like, "Your dad's proud of you," whatnot. And he sits down and just balls.
Just cries everywhere.
Yeah, it's so sad, but it's just so cool.
That's pretty cool. You can't. That's cool.
So cool. One of my favorite players. I still need to get a jersey of his.
I'm in.
I've been wanting one for years.
I gotta get a Dak
Hockey
jersey.
jerseys are cool.
But it was hard. It was hard for me to buy one because he played for the St. Louis Blues originally, who I hate because they were in the same division as the Stars. But I love Ovechkin. I like the Capitals.
Mhm.
I'm a Stars fan always, but I got a soft spot for the Capitals too.
So going into that
Mm-hmm.
about TJ Oshie winning the Stanley Cup, getting that memory with his dad, then losing his dad, and now he's back playing again, got a hat trick, very successful in what he does, brings me to my question.
Oh,
Okay.
now I'm extra intrigued.
Um,
For those of you who don't know, we don't know this question, and we kept pestering him to
Tell us.
ask the question because we were very intrigued by it. Just don't let it be a bummer,
well,
like a dumb question kind of bummer.
I hope it won't be.
Yeah.
But how should success be measured?
Like in anything.
Yeah, just success. How would you measure out success? Coming from, like with TJ Oshie, being very successful in his sport,
Mm-hmm.
and now still continuing, but, maybe one of his main drives of why he was in hockey is gone, and it'd be tough to kind of still find that same drive to be successful in the sport if your main inspiration or your guy backing you is not there anymore.
Yeah.
So I wonder how he and how a lot of people measure success.
I mean, I would say a lot of people measure it in happiness. Like, are you happy with your life? Like, are you happy with your current situation, regarding your job, your marriage, if you have one, if you're with your kids?
Relationship.
Yeah, relationship, with your kids, with your friendships, with the direction of your life. I feel like a lot of people measure it that way.
Is that how you're saying a lot of people? How would you measure it?
I mean,
I guess that's the thing about asking someone, how do you measure success? For me, it's ultimately, my thought is it's different for every single person. For me, it's, can I say that I gave everything I could into doing what I was doing? It goes back to that fear of not remembered or regrets. Like, can I say 150% did I do everything I could to, did I give everything I possibly could into what I was doing that I loved? Regardless if you won or lost, if it was like a sport, can I at least say that I tried my absolute very hardest?
So for you, question, and I'm guilty of a lot of failures and a lot of things I didn't try hard
Same.
at. Do you have any regrets with hockey?
Oh, so many.
Because I know you didn't give it your hardest. But you've always known too that to be successful in something you have to give it your all. And you said you would love to do that. Was there something that held you back from trying to be successful in hockey, or was it just, what was the reason?
So I would say it's the same thing for both hockey and baseball. I can honestly say I didn't give 100%, like what I would consider being a success. Soccer, I would say I did. I had my talent. I think I used it as much as I could. I'm comfortable with that. Baseball was a big one for sure because it was just a very easy tell that I just wasn't fully in it.
Yeah.
Hockey, yeah, there's a lot of regrets. I'd like to think, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I like to think that I did have,
There's a lot of tooting of horns going on. So you're all right.
I was
I-
about to say it too. I was like, oh, he's
I was not the greatest. I was decently good at handling the puck. Not in terms of like, oh, can he pull a move? Can he dangle? Just being able to carry that puck. Skating, I wasn't the fastest, but I was fairly fast. I'd like to say that I did have some natural skill when it came to the game. Whereas some people just have it's just natural born talent to them. I think I like to say I had a little bit of that. But the thing is, I'm trying to think in all my years of hockey, I think I did one camp off season wise when I was probably like a squirt or a peewee, which is 9, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah, there's not a. I mean,
You know,
that's not in any of like the years where you really could make big
you know,
jumps.
and if in that those years did also matter.
They count, yeah.
But
Big
doing
time.
1 year and then not. So yeah, I played hockey every single year since I was, I was super young, like 3 or 4 when I started. Took a few years off and then started back up in squirts, which is in that kind of that same area. And from then on up and through high school, I played every single year of my life. Well, yeah, I'm playing full seasons, but that's October through first week of March is usually when the state tournament was. Well, that leaves basically all of March through September, 6, 7 months, where all of our friends from high school, they're on summer teams or traveling hockey, which I did a few times with soccer. But they're doing this stuff and they're doing all these programs that they get in all these camps. Whereas what am I doing? Well, up until junior year when I got my first job in between junior and senior year, I was at home playing Xbox or hanging out with, during the day with some friends and whatnot. I wasn't doing anything to improve on myself, which, through the years of playing, you just will gradually get better through just practices and whatnot in the games. But
That was also
Like-
our debate from last episode.
what?
By just doing it makes you better.
Oh, yeah. But if I would have taken, the 16 years of playing hockey, or let's say 16 seasons of playing hockey, and then added on what was basically another 16 seasons essentially, counting, the in between the summer months, which about, a little bit longer than a season generally. If I would add, I would have doubled that, but also been more working on different skills that I have yet to had learned or could have improved on. I'm not saying I would have gone far or anything, or, I might have tried out for something and failed and just, that might be it. But I didn't give myself any of those chances because after senior year, I kind of, well, that's it.
Yeah. It just kind of.
Or even like if I would have just even tried up for anything, figured out like, oh, this is something I could do. Why don't I go and try out and see what happens? After high school, I just, that's it, I guess.
Did you want to continue?
Mm-hmm. Fear got in the way of that one, though.
Just fear got in the way of like college, like
The
playing in college, or
Not so much the fear
Fear
of
of
playing in
failing?
college. I think for when it came to college, well, I didn't have the grades to get in any decent college.
yeah, yeah, I guess.
As far as I knew, M State, I know they have a football program.
Yeah, and like Fergus Falls. And
Yeah.
They have a very small
and that's a
sports
very,
program.
very small, like max D3.
Minuscule.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of all they had. Maybe a few smaller things.
I think
but
they
no
have a good
hockey.
lacrosse team.
No, I gotta ask though. Let's say you had done camps up until
Mhm.
9th grade starts. Do you think knowing like a coach in one of these camps had told you like, hey man, if you keep at it, you do what you need to do in school to get somewhere, you can go somewhere? Do you think you would have done those things? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. I mean, that's perfectly
That
reasonable.
fear of failing that I just had in me, and just the way I prioritized things back then, I could have had an NHL player tell me, work on this stuff and you have a good shot, and I don't think I would have taken it seriously. Unfortunately.
That is the
I
tough
think
thing.
I
yeah.
think that the way my confidence was and just the way I was at that point, I wasn't gonna succeed in that, and I didn't deserve to at that point.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel a lot about the only sport I think I could have maybe been decent at. I don't know if I would have went anywhere with it, but I would have liked to have gave it a better shot was basketball.
Yeah.
And same thing. I wasn't doing anything to, you know, increase those chances or anything like that. And I agree with you in the same sense that I don't know. I don't think anybody like giving me advice on it would have really changed much. And that's just because I don't know. I always overcompensated with really trying to dive into something. And like, I was like, this is going to be the thing that sticks. Basketball is going to be the thing that I love and I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And then
Yeah.
the next thing would come up because I would start to feel like, oh, this actually might not work out. And then I have to dive full into something else. And then I put basketball on the back burners, and then I never got back to it. And
No, I mean, I know we graduated in May of 2015. That spring, I went to St. John's. They had a D2 hockey. Me and my dad went and talked with the soccer coach there and the hockey coach there to go play there. But it was also depending on grades, which mine were shit, obviously. So
same.
So so I applied and I figured I'd get rejected or whatnot. Me and my dad both kind of figured that was going to happen. And at that point, there was a simple appeal process. Like a lot of things. You appeal, you tell why, what's going
Yep,
on.
yep.
Maybe they'll have some sympathy and like, let's give it a chance. You never know. My dad was like, so here's the form, and I was house sitting for my aunt and uncle at that point when he was texting me this stuff, and then I just called him like, I'm not gonna do it. He wasn't happy
Yeah.
because he
well,
thought I was
imagine
just
not.
giving up, and it was one of those like, obviously, yeah, it could, if you appeal, it could happen, it could change, and all I could just say was, it's not gonna happen, and got pissed with me and whatnot, and I'm just not gonna, and that was it.
Do you feel like, obviously you said you had regret about it. Do you feel successful now in what you're doing?
Like in general,
Like, do
I
you
mean,
feel successful with your, let's just say with school?
yeah. I don't feel successful. I feel like I'm succeeding.
Okay, yeah.
If that kind of makes sense. Like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
like to me,
you're on the right track.
I don't think I could feel successful until like my last year here coming up. Once I get that done, if I'm still looking good, if I can say I did, then yes. But
Well,
right
you are
now, I
looking
do
good.
feel, huh? Thank you. I do feel like I am succeeding though,
Yeah.
and it is a lot easier because it's stuff. Drawing these layouts of buildings and houses is something it's something I've wanted to do for 7 or 8 years, and or that I kind of took it seriously, and that I've just enjoyed doing so far. In life, same thing. I don't feel successful, but I feel like I'm succeeding a lot more than I used to. I mean, we've known each other since kindergarten, and you've seen me through dark things, and so have you. And I feel like I've been a lot better, and I'm starting to succeed.
Yeah, I would say, for the most part, I would say probably in the last few months, it's when I could really start to see like a change with you, and like more interested in a lot of different like things. So for a while you were just saying no for a long time.
It was always easiest.
Yeah, you just say no.
Don't talk to me, just no.
Yeah, you're in the mood to just say no.
I mean, I am still like that a little bit. That's why I say don't get me to do things on Sunday. I'm not doing things on Sunday. Sunday is for me to sit at home.
Oh yeah,
and
well
nothing.
but
That's
now
when
there's a chance, and that's to go about something is to I mean, we can't always be like the movie Yes Man, my boy Jim Carrey.
Oh
but
boy,
you can't.
that's yeah. Nor do I want to.
Oh, yeah.
Except
that's
for
true.
when we first moved in, I was definitely like that.
Eh,
Well,
yeah.
maybe not definitely, but I was more so yes, man, because it's like all these stories I've heard from the House of 931. Like, you don't say yes, you're getting berated until it's a yes,
Yeah.
or until we just drag you out. It's like, well, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and
This
I
is
mean
gonna
that
suck, but I'll do it.
that was the same thing for me. I was just once I moved in at 931, it was a yes. It was a yes kind of world. Otherwise, got bodied by everybody.
Yeah.
Like you either said yes and you got a control about about what you're about to do, or you said no and well, you were still going out drinking, and
Yeah.
that's just how
And
it
yeah,
worked.
up until not super long ago, I was still kind of that, yep. There ain't no really choice. You're going.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether they made it seem like that way or not, which they really don't.
well, obviously, if you don't want to go to the bar,
Yeah, no.
you don't have to, but it was usually like, well, you could either choose to go and
Have fun with the
try to have a
boys.
good time, or you stay and then you pay for it later when everybody comes home drunk, and then you get
and
kept
having
up all
fun
night
and
because
you're
everyone's pounding on your door.
like all they want to do is see you and talk
Yeah.
to you, and you're just sober and just tired, wanting to go to bed.
Yeah,
and
you
you
just-
just want to have fun.
Yeah, you just want to be quiet and go to sleep. But
Yeah, nope. Won't say successful, but we're succeeding. Finally.
I like that. I'm in on that.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, the only thing I would say that I feel successful about, or I feel successful about school, and I feel successful trying to think how I should say it.
Genuinely.
No, like mentally. I feel
Well, I
successful.
just meant like you were like, I'm trying to think of how to say it. And I said just genuinely. So I
Yeah.
say it with genuine.
Did I already did I mess something up?
Well, you're like, well, no, not that, but mentally. So
I'm confused now.
I just go
Did
on.
I say genuinely wrong, or did I not say genuinely at all?
No, he meant to like say what.
Say what you're thinking. Like say it genuinely.
Yeah.
Like don't try to just say it, and you're like, no, mentally. Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Okay.
I thought you said generally.
Oh, genuinely. Sorry.
Yeah, so I thought you meant
Mouth
like
was a little
just
parched.
in general I feel successful type of thing.
Yeah.
I think I just heard you wrong. But I would say like mentally, for the fact that I've gotten to a pretty good spot of where I can be mostly in control of like my emotions and stuff, and I can see when certain thoughts are coming in, and I can start to rationalize of why those thoughts are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your thoughts of failure, or if I'm feeling a lot of anxiety one day or something, I can be like, well, this happened, I'm probably still feeling that, so then I know kind of what I'm supposed to do. How I explain it to Grace sometimes is like knowing what to do when you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sense of like when you're really feeling anxiety and
Yeah.
you just don't know what to do. There's just like a list of things that I like to go through, and
It's
that's
just
like
a simple like figure out what could be causing this.
at that
What can I
at,
do to fix it?
at certain points it's as simple as just not you just need to start doing things, and that's like making your bed, doing some laundry,
Yeah, absolutely.
whatever, just making like a checklist of the simplest stuff and then just getting it done. And that can kind of start making you go forward. And those are like when you're really like lost feeling and you really have a bad day. But there's a lot of other times when you're just feeling just a little off. And then it's like, okay, I need to like check in with myself and kind of relax. Give myself like the best chance of relaxing. Like take a hot shower, make some hot tea, get in bed, like get comfortable or something, like make yourself as comfortable as possible so that you can deal with, the anxiety or whatever's gonna kind of
No, I'm the same. I mean, you saw me earlier today when you walked up. I'm sitting there with totes in my room that I'm just like, oh yeah, I gotta organize this stuff as it's organized in my closet already. And I'm like, nope, gotta organize it.
Yeah, oh for sure. You got some quirks.
I'm a big if I get anxious, I'm a big cleaning guy.
Yeah, I
or not maybe not so much clean, but just I need to organize.
I forgot that, or I forget that, and then when I'm on your computer, then I really remember it
Oh,
because there's so
I-
many files
and it's
stuff
messy
for
right
ev-
now. I need to go through and
Oh,
organize.
yeah,
them
I've
again.
messed it up. I've
Yeah,
messed it up.
it's-
Is what I've done.
I'm big on organization,
Oh yeah, and
except for my life. We'll keep that disorganized.
well, you got Jess for that.
She's a disorganization. She's getting better though.
Well, no, I'm saying she tells you where you're going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she just tells you where you're going, and you just yes,
Well,
dear.
that's
Yes, dear.
that's the
Apparently
thing.
to Arizona.
That's
I'm juiced about that though.
what
You moving to Arizona. Luke's going there. Liv.
I know.
Are you for
Ellie's
sure going?
there.
Oh, I have no clue. It's not for another year, year and a half. But she
Yeah, it's pretty quick. though.
I don't. Again, I think we talked about this on another episode, but like I don't even remember how it fully came up at this point. But it came up, and she's like, "I'm serious. Like, should we do that?" We got
like,
family
sweetie,
down
I'm
in
here for a
Arizona.
haircut.
that was the thing. I walk in for a haircut and I get told we should move to Arizona and I need a ring in the next year, and I'm like, I just came in for a $15 haircut. Thanks
Oh,
so.
2 for 1. I like it.
Yeah, I
Your
was
style.
caught off guard.
By
but-
what, the ring or the Arizona part?
Pick one.
Big one. Well, the
Well, I
ring
think-
you shouldn't have been caught
Yeah,
off
that-
guard
that
by.
was-
Nah, what? The ring?
Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't.
Um,
I just she likes to bring it out. I'm just like, I know we will, just not yet. It's happening,
Yeah.
but I know she has her own anxiety issues
Yeah.
where
the best is
I don't want her to
the,
think that
the
way.
last time we went out, just me, you, and her, and you went to the bathroom, she goes, "When do you think he's gonna get
at
engaged at
whatever the one with the
Roundup
yeah.
Saloon?" She's like, "When do you
That
think
place
he's gonna
is sweet.
propose?" I'm like, "It's coming." She's like, "But when?" I'm like, "Jess, I can't tell you. Nor if I did know, it's like I ain't going to tell you." She's
Say,
like,
Jess, if you ever get to this episode, you're killing me here.
You're killing him.
You're killing me. But
We'll
no,
be-
the
well,
more
we gotta take a quick break. I don't want to cut you off, but the video is about to.
okay.
We'll be right back.
"It's gonna cut to me." It's like, "Dennis, Laura, we got him."
Oh, I love it. I love it. Just ladies and
We got
Dennis and Laura, we got them.
And we are back.
For the final segment of tonight.
This is final.
It's finally here.
It's been a long road.
Yes, it's been long and winding road.
Yep. A lot of things were unpacked in this episode, and
Another emotionally draining episode.
Yeah.
very emotionally draining. And don't know how much of it you get to see, but we'll see.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll get there.
There's a lot that's going to be in there, though, regardless.
Yep. So back to it, you were talking about possibly going to Arizona with Jess.
Yep. It sounds like day by day, she's wanting it more and more, and you know, I never
Arizona's
was,
so cool.
I was
though.
never against it because, like I said, you know, I got a few family members down there in Arizona, and I have always wanted to go there. And then, you know, we kind of looked like that first or second night that she brought it up. We had already looked like, I don't know exactly where you guys are staying in LA, but you know, let's just search up that general area. What kind of distance we're looking at there? And it's like, oh, that's a few-hour drive. That would be awesome. And then you got our sponsors. Our sponsor Luke, who is heading on down there.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, huh.
So,
It's not a horrible
so
decision. I kind of
I'm
like
the
it.
guy
too.
No,
left
it's
out
a
and-
it's a real good spot.
I'm the guy in the Midwest. Okay.
Well, you don't have to be.
Looks like I'm jumping to. I'll go Las Vegas. We'll just.
Oh,
get the
Why don't you go
triangle.
Reno?
Las Vegas though.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, no, Reno's
Okay.
nice. Reno's nice, but it ain't Las Vegas.
Okay.
I mean, he can complete the lounge chair rider triangle.
Yes.
But you could do that by getting a chair.
It's running gag.
Don't worry. He said he was going to have it by today. He doesn't.
Yeah. He said he was
I
gonna
was
have
mov-
it by like
I was
episode 2.
moving my shit from my current apartment to my new apartment. So, a lot of shit to do. I have so much shit.
Question:
Yes.
Now that we have the logo unveiled,
A
and
logo, yeah.
hopefully, well, what's the logo at this point?
Okay.
At this point,
Yep.
that's our logo.
I like
Correct.
it. I drew it.
I don't know if you can see it. No, the picture is peppered in though. This did say okay. We're good.
Oh yeah, we did say that. Yeah.
In this weekend coming up before this episode is going to be out, are we looking at maybe a basic shirt
Yeah. Yeah.
to get to
yeah,
our
Yeah.
what should our fans be called? The loungies? The loungers?
The groupies.
What? That
I don't know.
was terrible.
I don't know.
The riders.
The employees?
The riders.
It took us long enough to come up with. Oh. Oh, well, I was gonna say the MC. Like, but I'm trying to think of
What do they call is there
like the motorcycle club.
what if they're the prospects?
I like that. The members. Behind the front desk. I'm thinking gym wise the members.
Yeah, that's
How about this? How about we pepper that in for another time? Or do we want to do it on air here?
I don't know. I was just bringing
I
it up.
like it
but
because now we got to think of another thing.
it shouldn't be that hard.
No.
Because
I gave up. I
The
literally just gave
riders,
my
I mean, I'm
my
glad
best
no one
answers,
fucking
and they were
answered
shit.
that one.
I'm all right. Well, I mean,
Oh, go ahead, shit on it. I know. I'm just spitballing.
no, I'm just
spitballing.
kidding. But yeah, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Possibly when this is aired, look for shirts.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll announce
Well, I'm just saying when this
Yeah.
episode comes out, maybe
in the near future.
I'm
We'll
just
have some
saying, I mean,
merchandise.
we could probably pop up a couple shirts just to see what they look like, at least for us to wear.
Yeah,
No, yep,
Crew neck,
it's just we got to do that.
neck.
I know. But this
So
episode,
I was just saying, like in the near future.
yeah, I know. I'm just getting
Oh.
the fans psyched that there's probably shirts on the way.
Hats?
Oh, need a hat for sure.
No, the only thing I was gonna ask. are we
Maybe a
going
crew
with
neck for Ding, or all three of us.
The Lounge Chair Writers present Behind the Front Desk podcast. Should we do Behind the Front Desk featuring the Lounge Chair Writers? Play with it, make a couple different shirts.
Oh yeah.
oh,
we-
I thought you
mean,
meant like for them. Like, are you kidding me? I have to redo the sign now.
Well,
The logo.
Yeah, it was.
I
I
mean,
thought. I
it's-
thad he just
I thought
bodied
as I say, the
your
worst
sign.
thing too was because we're not going to get it that size now.
Oh.
Because I'm out of school for the semester.
Yeah. So that's
That's it for
That's what
minimum
we got.
until
we could-
September.
I mean, we could go to Party USA or whatever.
No,
Oh,
No.
okay.
free.
Okay.
Well, not free,
Apparently.
but
Apparently, I'm OBJ right now. Everyone's shitting on me.
so dumb.
creative though. I like it. It was funny.
Love to be OBJ.
So
he's an incredible receiver.
Oh
Yes.
boy. Oh boy.
I think he's a good wide receiver.
Yeah, he's very good.
No, I think he is
He's-
too. I just
Oh.
thought there was a conversation that.
Oh no, I was
spiral
literally
out of
strictly
control.
like he's a great
Well,
wide
that,
receiver.
That and he's a very nice looking human being. So
He is a gorgeous man.
yes.
So what were you saying?
Well, I was just gonna.
Are you gonna cut us?
Well, I was gonna tie a bow on this thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow, the crowd is not excited. If you guys want to keep going, we can keep going a little bit, but
You seem a tad exhausted. I mean, if you want to fire, we'll pull Mike or Dad in here and we'll fire through.
I'm pretty sure her dad unlocked the door. So I think his lady's coming over,
Okay.
possibly.
Can we take on the motorcycle then, or just so it doesn't fall?
Oh. I was gonna say something. I don't know what I was gonna say
So
now.
back to success.
Back to this pot thing.
true.
Over and done. I'm out of the game.
No, another emotionally draining episode. Lots of deep
Lots.
conversations.
Yes.
Let us know
Yeah.
what you think about those. Your opinions.
Take what I was about to say. That's what I was about to
Oh,
say
really?
when I said I
Well,
was.
finish it up.
So I was gonna say I was gonna wrap a bow on this thing, and then you shit on me for
Well,
suggesting to wrap a bow on it, and
but
you
I was
took
not-
my line.
Well, finish it off then.
No, you finish it off. It's your thing, no. No, I'm just kidding. You actually should wrap it up. You did open the episode with your logo. So that's your logo. You printed it off.
Okay, now I feel like shit now. Thanks.
Well, and it's more of Isaac's episode because we pestered him with questions for
Like I said off air,
hours.
like an onion. First layer peel off. It's like, oh, okay. Next layer, it's like, oh shit. And third, fourth, fifth. Now you're getting down to the core of the onion, and it's like, oh no.
It's starting to stink.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, another emotionally draining episode. Let us know what you think, what your opinions are, how you feel about it.
Especially that logo.
Yeah, say let me know what you think of the logo. It's basic, but it's something.
Yeah, and let us know what you would like to buy with the logo on it,
Yeah.
so we could make some cool stuff for
I mean,
everybody.
We're pretty open in terms of what people would want because there's no shortage of what we could put a logo on.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
But I'm excited to get the boys in some T-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be so
Last few
cool.
weeks I've been thinking about like wanting to get this done so I could get a T-shirt.
And then that's all I'll wear.
Yep.
And phaser marketing.
Why not one of each?
Oh.
Phaser hat,
Oh yeah, because I could switch because we'd have a
lounge chair, shirt.
we'd have a lounge
vice
hat
versa. Yep.
and so switch those.
Yep.
Genius.
So
We should tell Luke to make sunglasses. Flicker those on.
Oh my.
nobody should make a nice phaser marketing watch for Ding.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty
Like
sweet
take
too.
that dartboard and just shrink it into a
Just
clock.
shrink it in.
Yep.
Oh, I like that. He's still got to get us our exclusive phaser marketing underwear and
Oh.
phaser marketing lava lamp. We're waiting,
Ooh.
Luke. We're
Nice way to
waiting.
get-
Lava
way to
lamp,
get 'em.
though.
Yeah,
Right?
that'd be
Intrigued
pretty
by
sweet.
that.
Toss one or two.
You
back
imagine how
there.
cool that?
Oh, it looks so cool.
'Cause-
So cool.
Because Tim Egerbrought and his dad in the Phaser Friday,
Yeah.
he had a lava lamp in his set, and it looks so cool. And
Much looks cool.
yeah, we're waiting for it, Luke. So whenever you're ready, and
Fire
whenever
that to us, please.
yeah, whenever you want to be on the show, Luke, just let us know.
And for the rest of you out there, if you haven't already, check them out. Phasermarketing.com.
Yes. And if you know anyone famous, fire them over to us, please.
See you soon, Dex.
Nice.
So I'm
Anyway.
signing off every episode.
Like us, subscribe to us,
Share.
share us, tell your friends about us. We'd greatly appreciate it. Other than that, stay safe out there. And good night.
Good night.
See you.